Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi,
Good
Brian.
afternoon, Brian.
Hey, just wondering if we have everyone here and if we can call the meeting to order.
So I can confirm that Gordon Stott, the officer for the Kinsey file, is available. He just can't log on at the moment. So worst case scenario, when we're wrapped up with Mike's case, they can swap places.
Okay. Cool. So should we start with then number 2 then first, you're suggesting, Steve?
Yeah. So
regarding 49 West?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So if everyone's here, then we'll call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of Property Standards Committee, and it's being called to consider appeals of orders to comply issued by the City of Kitchener's enforcement staff pursuant to Chapter 665 of the City of Kitchener Municipal Code, the Building Code Act, and the Statutory Procedure Act. My name is Brian Santos, and I'm the chair for the meeting today. With me, I've got committee members Charlene and Kimmy, and also Mariah.
Good morning.
And also Mariah Blake, who's our committee administrator. So we've got two appeals to hear today. We're going to switch the order on our agenda. We'll first be hearing appeal number 2022-06 regarding 49 West Avenue. This hearing is a formal process where those giving evidence will be required to make an affirmation as to the validity of their testimony. However, the committee tries to conduct the hearing in a relaxed fashion. So the committee has the ability to do one of 4 things. We can confirm or uphold the order as it currently stands, or we can rescind the order. 3, we can modify the order. For example, some items may have been completed while others are outstanding, or the other option we have, number 4, would be to grant an extension of time to comply with that order. So those are the only 4 things that we have the ability to do here in this committee. The appellant will receive the committee's decision in writing from the committee administrator. So the process is the director, supervisor, bylaw enforcement will introduce the matter. Mariah Blake will then confirm the witnesses and they'll give their testimony. So with that, I think we'll ready to introduce our our first appeal, which is number 2022-06, 49 West Avenue, with Officer Niederer. And here looking for an extension to comply with the order.
That is correct. So again, it's in regards to appeal 2022-06 for 49 West Ave, pertaining to order number 22109-391. And my understanding is that some of the work has been completed at the property, and Mike will be able to confirm that some of the deficiencies have been corrected. And the property owner is looking for an extension in time due to not being able to line up contractors. So we can affirm Officer Mike Niederer to speak on that behalf and confirm the information I just proposed, and then we can take it from there.
Thanks, Steve. And thank you, Mike. If we can just get you affirmed before you give your testimony, please. Mariah, can you help with that?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to help out. Mariah might be having some issues with unmuting herself. So just for a quick introduction, my name is Diana Saunderson. I'm the deputy clerk. So Mike, if you wouldn't mind raising your right hand. Do you swear from the information you're going to provide today is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Officer, can you please raise your right hand?
Oh,
Do you swear and confirm that the information you're providing to the committee today is both true and correct?
I do, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to help out. Mariah might be having some issues with unmuting herself. So just for a quick introduction, my name is Diana Saunderson.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Mike, you're free to give your testimony.
Okay. Yeah, with regards to the property at 49 West Ave, our office had received a complaint in early May of this year, and I performed my inspection on May the 9th of 2022 and met with the tenant, identified some of the issues in the unit and the building itself. I had issued the order on, looks like May 12th. And so there were 4 issues in the order. Essentially a concrete walkway slab that was damaged. There was a gap in the concrete steps. There was a missing railing on the front steps, and there was some drywall. So with the committee's permission, I'll just go quickly through those because some of them have been addressed.
Well, I'm not sure, Mike, if you just cut out for me or for everyone else, though, but kind of like cut out there where you're saying after missing railing. So if you can just repeat that, if that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it was my internet or yours, but yeah.
I can confirm it cut out for me as well.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I'm usually working from home where the technology is better.
yeah, so if you could just pick up where after missing railing, Mike.
Sure. So yes, there was no railing on the front steps. The only other issue was the drywall installation in the front foyer was poorly done and not completed. So I have re-inspected since that time. I can confirm that the gap in the concrete steps has been rectified, and that would be in compliance. There still needs to be a railing installed on those steps, and the concrete walkway slab as you enter the building is still damaged, so that would have to be addressed. I do have photos provided by the owner of the drywall issues in the foyer. The photos appear to be of the completed work, but I have not been able to inspect as yet to confirm that they were installed correctly.
Excellent, thank you. At this time, the appellant can ask questions regarding the statements made. This is a time just for questions only, not to provide your case, just to ask questions if there's anything pertaining to the testimony given by city staff. So if the appellant would like to ask questions, they're able to.
No, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Does committee members have any questions for city staff?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to just confirm that because the railing's missing and the step is, or not step, the front walkway leading to the house has concrete damage, that it's unsafe at the moment.
Sorry, I may have miscommunicated. So the steps themselves are made of concrete, but they are in compliance and they would be safe. There is like patio stone walkway
Okay.
and leading up to the steps, and a few of those are broken. So not an imminent safety concern, but it would constitute a tripping hazard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, just not seeing any other questions. Thank you, Mike. At this time, we'll get the appellant affirmed so they can give their testimony. So I'm not sure if it's Mariah or Diana this time or both.
So sorry about that. If I could just get the appellant to raise their right hand.
Sure.
Do you confirm and swear that the information you are providing to the committee today is both true and correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hans, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's. I don't really have a lot to add, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's fairly clear what I wrote in the appeal. I'm asking for an extension. As I said here, I've been trying to get 3 of these items completed since last summer. It has been extremely difficult to get contractors, especially for these small jobs. And therefore, I requested an extension to comply to September 8th, 2022. And I said right there, and I will repeat, I intend to fully comply with the order. And as you have noted, and I think I sent photographs to Diana Saunderson, items number 2, which was confirmed by by Mr. Niederer. Items 2 and 4, I sent before and after pictures. Those items have been completed. That basically is the gap at the step that's been done, and the front foyer drywall has been finished. Has received, was sanded, received 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of finish paint, and also installed coping and small little wood finishes to finish it off against what is the existing drywall that was in place. So I'm hoping that also constitutes finishing that item. So those 2 have been done. The railing, it's really not an odd thing, but I had a contract in place already last October, November, and the guy just never came. I have a new contract in place from this company here, Blue Dog Exteriors, and Mr. Mike Clifford. I've paid the deposit, everything. He is now assembling the railing, and he told me he would install it forthwith. So I'm anticipating having that completed, anytime, obviously weather permitting. That was Blue Dog Exteriors, guys from Cambridge, and his name is Mr. Tim Clifford. So that is in place. As I say, I'm hoping that will be done in the next day or so. Again, weather permitting. The remaining item, as Mr. Niederer pointed out, is the walkway to the front of the house. That's a bit of an oddity, but yes, it definitely it has deteriorated in a couple of places, and I have the materials in hand, and I am hoping, again, weather permitting, that that will be completed as of next week. So I don't think, unless you have questions, I don't really have anything further to add to that. I took the September 8th date just, to give me some assurance in case, I couldn't find somebody to do the railing, that I would have to go to the 3rd or 4th person. But everything else, like I say, is in hand, and I'm hoping this will all be done by the end of next week. And that's it.
Well, thank you for your testimony, Hans. City staff has an opportunity to ask questions if you'd like at this time.
I don't have any questions to ask at this time. I believe that the extension is warranted due to what we all know of the complications of trying to line up contractors, especially since Mr. Sabota attempted to have somebody in place and they never showed up. So we're aware that that is happening, and we would be in agreement to a reasonable extension.
Great. Thank you, City staff. Any questions from committee members? Okay, so just to be clear, Mr. Boca, you've asked until September 8th for this extension, correct?
That's correct. That's as per the notice, whatever that was called, property stands notice of appeal. Yes, extension to September 8th, 2022.
Excellent, because we just can't give extensions and extensions. Just want to make sure the walkway. You say you're going to do it next week, but the contractor is going to show up in the next month, right?
Yeah, I'm on to Tim almost every couple of days. The walkway itself, I will take care of personally, so I can guarantee it will be done by or before the end of next week. And Blue Dog, I hope he can get the materials. And he says he's putting the railing together, and once it's together, it'll be a simple matter of installing. Okay.
Excellent. So both sides have an opportunity now to provide a summation if they like, but I feel everything's pretty clear here. If you guys want an opportunity, just let me know. Seeing none. So if it's okay, the committee can just step aside if you guys want, and then we can make a decision here.
Could you repeat that again?
Just the committee's just going to step aside just for brief back here. Can we continue, Diana? Green light?
Mariah, were you able to confirm that we connected?
Confirming that we are live, yes.
Excellent, thank you. Appreciate all your help. So, Mr. Sawaka, the committee met and they have approved the extension for the order to comply until September 8th. So you'll be receiving notice in writing from city staff, but you can hear it from us that you got that extension. So thank you, and good luck with the contractor and that work. I think you're on mute, but I see your head nodding in agreement. So
okay, there we go. Yes, thank you very much to all of you for taking a look at this and for your work in it, and thank you very much for granting the extension.
Thank you, Mr. Sawaka. Have a good afternoon, and appreciate this.
You too.
Thank you.
All of them. Thank you.
Excellent. So now moving along, we head to appeal number 2022-04 regarding 58 Kinsey Avenue. So if we can have the Director Supervisor Bylaw Enforcement introduce the matter, please.
Sure thing. Just bear with me. Sorry, too many screens to jump back and forth to here. So yes, this is regarding appeal number 2022-04 regarding 58 Kinsey Avenue, and regarding an order to comply that Officer Gordon Stott had issued for some issues within a unit. Our understanding is that the order did not have the specific unit number on it. And our position would be that, or our request would be to the committee through you, Mr. Chair, that the order is amended to include the unit number. And I can also call upon Officer Stott to give the evidence on behalf of the city, which our position would be that a notice was issued with the unit number before the actual order to comply was issued. And we did submit that as evidence as well, which we'll be able to bring forth. And then secondly, the order is only speaking to the outstanding issues from the initial notice. So it's just to do with windows and nothing to do with mold. So I know that there was a bunch of evidence submitted regarding mold, but we are not here to talk about mold because that issue was rectified when the initial notice was originally issued. So if we can swear in Officer Stott, and he can give us a rundown of what happened today.
Thanks so much, Steve. If we can get Officer Scott sworn in, that'd be wonderful, or affirmed.
Lily, Officer Stott, do you confirm and swear that the information you'll be providing to the committee today is true and correct?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gord, if you can just take us through the process and what happened at the property, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah. So back in April, I visited Unit 16, 58 Kinsey, and the tenant had some issues around the windows being drafty, which caused the buildup of frost during the winter and also allowed insects to come in. I did my inspection, and there was also black mildew or mold on the window sills. And from there issued a notice to the owner saying the mold mildew needed to be cleaned and painted, and then the window drafts have to be corrected. All would require would be window seals added, and also locks on the windows because there was no locking device on the windows. And then I did a re-inspection after the tenant contacted me, and that was April 20, actually May 3rd is when I did the inspection. May 27th, he contacted me and did a re-inspection. The window sills were cleaned and painted. And all that remained was the drafty windows and the locks still not on the windows. And yeah, that's basically what brings us here today after you appealed the order.
So Gord, can you just go over the process of the order being issued, please?
Yeah, because the order, the initial notice wasn't fully done, an order was issued to the owner to repair the two item deficiencies that were still outstanding. And it was sent registered mail to the owner and received May 20th. And then it has the two items listed on there.
Great.
Giving them to the June 14th to comply.
Okay, thank you. And again, to acknowledge the unit number was missing on the order. We acknowledge that, but it was on the initial notice. So, and that is our position. We're asking for an amendment to include the unit number to the order.
Okay, and what's the unit number, Steve?
Unit number 16, I believe. Gord, if you can confirm that.
Yeah, it's 16. Yeah.
Unit 16. And as far as process here with this committee, do we just approve this amendment to add that unit number? How does that work? Just for
So I believe the committee has the ability to amend an order, affirm it, or quash it. We're asking for the amendment part. I still believe we need to give the opportunity to the property owner or their representative to rebuttal here, and then hear their side. But I think those are the three options the committee has through you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I understand now. Thanks, Steve. At this point, though, too, the appellant has the opportunity to ask questions to city staff. Yeah, it's not the time to present your motion, just to ask questions of the testimony that was provided, though, too. So if the appellant has any questions, now's the time.
Thank you, Chair. I guess approximately how much mold was there on the windowsill, would you say?
How much mold? How would you like that to be measured? I called it mold/mildew in my initial notice, so it wasn't tested for mold or anything. So it might have been just black mildew.
Okay. Now I don't see the issue of the locks on the original property standards notice. Is it on there? Am I missing something?
Nope, the locks are not on the initial notice. It was something noticed when I was checking the windows themselves to see if they were repaired.
Okay, so I didn't get
They're required.
I didn't get an opportunity to address it prior to the order.
Correct.
Okay. Those are all my well, yeah, I guess those are all my questions. I have some of the comments. But.
Thank you, Mr. Serador. Does the committee have any questions to city staff? The officer. No questions? Okay, thank you. So now if at this time we get the appellant affirmed so they can give their testimony, please.
Absolutely. If you can get the appellants raise their right hand. Do you confirm and swear that the information you'll be providing to the committee today is true and correct?
I do.
Thank you.
Well, floor is yours, Mr. Serador, to give your testimony.
Yes, so I guess I would like, because of the issues with the order, I would like it to be rescinded. Simply because it doesn't match the initial property standard notice. Property standards notice had mold and two items of the windows. The order has regarding drafts. The order itself has has window draftiness, but also locks which weren't in the original order. So I never had an opportunity to respond to that. So the request is to quash this. Now, there are many other problems with this order. I couldn't present evidence because again, the unit number is not listed, so I can't provide the pictures, etc. Because again, I'm not certain. I don't want to get it. Break anybody's privacy, but providing pictures of units that are involved in this. So, however, I did check 16, and there is no drafty windows. So I have a big problem with this whole order, and I will, I'd like it to be rescinded, reorder it, so I can appeal it again, because the issue was simply the window was not properly closed, and I went in and closed it, and it was fine, and there's no way to add additional weather tightness to it because it's already too tight. Tenant was having difficulty closing it because it's that tight. So, but that said, I closed it, in 2 minutes. So, so this order, I cannot comply with this order. There's no way to add additional weather stripping to make an already very tight window tighter. I have to do some research on this whole lock thing because I'm not sure what the Ontario building codes say against grandfathered buildings and locks with no children in units. So I need to do some research on there and see if that is in fact an issue that is appropriate for me to address. Okay, so at this point, I have no way to comply with this order. And given the state of the order, I would like it to be canceled and, if appropriate, reissue it so I can appeal it once more.
Thank you for the testimony. Does city staff have any questions pertaining to that testimony?
I don't have specific questions, but I do have comments regarding notices and orders. So a notice is issued as a courtesy at first, and there's no requirement to issue a notice. So our office can go straight to order. So just because something is not listed in a notice, it doesn't mean we would not have the ability to list it in an order. So I would just like to point that out.
Thank you.
I would also ask, are there photos that we're able to pull up regarding the windows to the committee chairs, or to legislative services? I believe we had some that were provided.
Are there any specific photos you're referring to?
Just of the windows in general, so we can see the condition of them and if they are able to seal or not, or what the stripping looks like.
Gord, if you want me to stop at any of the photos, please let me know. I'm scrolling slowly, but.
Yeah, the photos are of all the windows in the apartment. So some of them are the backsliding door, which wouldn't pertain to adding stripping to it. But I think if I go scroll down on mine, I could tell you which page number it is. I can't because I want to say 5 and 6, page 5 and 6, kind of shows the windows at their best.
So page 5 is the top image, and
yeah.
Page 6 is on the screen now.
Yeah, and then maybe the first one of page 7 would be.
So Gord, the photo we're looking at now, again, if I have the ability to ask a question at this time, is that ice buildup on the right hand right there?
Yeah, that's about an inch of ice that was taken during the winter.
Okay. And that would lead us to assume that they are drafty. I would assume.
Am I able to respond to this?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a couple of issues here. A lot of this is damage from humidity, and I've had issues with this tenant having large numbers of plants and not willing to control this humidity. Now, these are 1970s aluminum windows. So they're not insulated. So you will have ice on them, but that does not mean they're drafty. In fact, if they're drafty, you would have less ice because the cold air would be coming in, right? So in fact, they aren't drafty. The problem I have in that building in general, and they all have the same aluminum windows, is that it's too hot in the building. People have their windows open in January, and and I'm happy to show pictures of that situation. So the fact that there are aluminum windows on a very cold day in January, February, you might have ice. So I totally, agree that's the case. But whether that's affecting the tenants or there's anything I can do other than replace perfectly good windows throughout the building, I'm not aware of any fixes.
Did the windows ever have locks on them? Were they ever equipped with locks?
They never have had locks. Again, this building was built in the 70s.
Yeah, and the only question I have for that, and you said because there's no children in the unit, and the one thing that we can't control, people are visiting with children, and that's why we would ask if there's some type of stopping device to not allow them to open all the way and or a lock. Because you do see that in a lot of buildings, they do have some type of stopping device that does not allow for somebody to be able to crawl through. They only open up about 4 inches.
Well, I can investigate that, but but there's other issues here. Like I said, there's no draft if it's fully closed. So. And this has all been repaired. So what you're looking at here is not the current situation, right? My superintendent was good enough on his own time to strip all the drywall, put it all back, and again. But I expect this likely is going to happen again in a year or two, given that the tenant has a couple dozen plants in his unit and doesn't believe that anything he does about the humidity is affecting anything in the building, in the unit.
Do you have any photos of the completed renovations?
I've not prepared. I've taken some, but I don't know if I do or not. Frankly, I could take 10, 15 minutes, but I don't know if that's to find it. But it's not a good use of the committee's time. I would worry. And in fact, what I have to do is provide a video showing me closing the window for you at another date.
Any other questions from committee members?
Can I just ask the officer to confirm the dates of inspection?
Initial inspection. Am I back on there?
Yes, please.
Okay. Initial inspection was in April, I think it was 17th, April 14th. And then I did another inspection in May on the 4th.
And was the frost observed in April?
Most of the frost was observed in the winter. I had previous files on this unit as well.
Thank you.
Actually, I do have some pictures of pre-repair without frost on a normal day. Would you like to see those?
Are they easy to share here?
Yeah, I can share those. Let me see here.
Through the chair, typically evidence is provided to the committee administrator for sharing purposes. So Pedro, if you're able to go ahead and send them via email, I just want to make sure for the purposes of redaction, if there's any MPIPA requirements that we need to be taken into consideration. Can you send them via email?
It'll take a few minutes.
That's okay. I just want to make sure that we're not sharing anything on screen that we can't, that has any privacy concerns.
Fair, thanks, Anna. While you may be doing that, Pedro, if you're able to answer at the same time, is this an apartment building that you own multiple units in, or the whole building?
Yeah, I own the whole building.
And how many other apartments are in this building?
24.
24, and I assume they all have the same windows?
They all have the same windows.
And this
And
is,
in fact, yeah, and in fact, there's a gentleman who lives with the same age as the tenant who lives upstairs, exactly in the same corner. And his building has none of these, or his unit has none of these issues because he takes care of it.
okay, so this is the only apartment that we have issues with, is with this specific apartment then?
That's right.
Okay. And then just to be clear, I guess the only items that remain on this order is just regarding no locks and then them being drafty, correct? It's the only part that we're looking to, because the committee has 4 options. Just to highlight that again, is we can confirm or uphold the order as it stands. We can rescind it, which we're looking for, what you're asking for. We can modify the order, or then grant an extension to comply. So just going over what the committee has the ability to do here. So, yeah. Any other questions that the committee has for the appellant? Not
Yeah,
seeing any.
I think Diana should have the pictures.
Diana, any luck?
I'm just waiting. I'm trying to speed up my email receipt. 1 second. Pedro, do you know if the files were under 10 megs?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I can share them on my screen. I can guarantee you there's no privacy issues involved here.
It would be up to the will of the committee. I still would need those files provided to us prior to the end, just to make sure that the appeal file has been complete in its entirety.
Yeah, they were sent to you. It's just it may take some time to go through email servers.
Does the committee need to see these photos, guys? Just asking you before making a decision here. Are you okay?
I have just received them. So
Oh.
1 second. All right. So this is the first photo that was received.
Yeah, this is before repair. So you can see that, I mean, there's a small amount of water damage and a small amount of mildew, but that's it. All right, why that, why this is an issue for the city, I'm not certain. There's another one on the other side. It's a little bit worse with a little more mildew, but
So the property standards bylaw does speak to surfaces, and this is why we would address something like that.
how does that affect services?
How does that affect what, sorry?
Yeah, what kind of services is that an issue for? Like, how do you
So
define
for-
service?
Yeah, so if there's paint chipping or there's mildew or mold on a surface or growing on a surface, it's up to the property owner, property manager to ensure that's being rectified. So we see peeling paint, we see bubbling paint, and that is a requirement that surfaces are in good condition. So we wouldn't accept this as being in good condition.
Chair, I don't know if you have any more questions or if Kimmy does, but I'm willing to go into meeting if you guys are.
Hey, Kimmy, any questions?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and just another question for city staff though too, just before we jump out. So it is a requirement from bylaw to have windows that are able to be locked, correct?
As for a bylaw, yes, it is in there.
Okay. Yeah, so the committee now will just step aside in this virtual separate waiting room, and then we'll come back in a few moments with their decision.
Through Mr. Chair, just for confirm related to process, typically those people just prior to deliberation have the opportunity to do a summation. So I just didn't know if anybody wanted to take that opportunity to do that before you deliberated.
Okay, my apologies.
That's okay.
Pedro, if you'd like to go first, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, just to summarize this, this again, I've had some notices on this unit, which I have spent a lot of time and money to repair and resolve. Again, very small areas of mildew. That is why I sent that issue on the mold, right? It's an ongoing issue with this particular unit and this particular tenant. But I have a problem with a tenant who is not willing to clean or keep the humidity down in this unit. And this will be a continuing, ongoing issue. That's my concern there. So again, as the order stands, it's I'm not able to comply. So again, it's not physically possible. So I'd like to get it to cancel ideally, or very least issued with enough time for me to research and likely, I'm willing to meet with Mr. Stott and show him window closing. I'm perfectly happy to do that. If not, then I expect I'll have to be here again appealing.
Thank you.
Yeah, then in summation for the city, we would request that the order be amended to include the unit number.
Okay,
Oh, great. We'll just put everybody on hold.
thank you. Thank you. So the committee is going to give its decision today. They've decided to modify the order to include the unit number 16 at 58 Kinsey Avenue, and they've decided then we've decided to provide an extension to comply to October 31st, 2022. So just again, adding the unit number and then an extension to October 31st, 2022, before it gets cold again. And then this will also be provided in writing at a later point, though, for the appellant. Any questions at all?
I guess because I could not comply with this, there's an opportunity to get the fee for appeal refunded.
I don't think that's something that we're able to discuss as a committee. We're only able to do those four aforementioned activities. And so I think that would be something that you'd have to talk to the city about.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sorry, there's no opportunity for an appeal. The hearing has been had. The fee is related to this hearing and the committee has rendered a decision. So you'll be provided a copy of the decision in the mail. It notes further appeal opportunities if that's the route you so choose. But the committee has granted a small extension and modified the order. So you will receive that in writing.
Okay, thank you.
And Pedro, if you do want to arrange a time to meet with Officer Stott on site, as long as the tenant is willing to allow everybody into the unit at the same time to go over what the requirements are and also showing that the windows are working properly, we're more than happy to arrange for that. Again, as long as the tenant is in agreement to let everybody in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our meeting for today. So thank you for everyone for their time and their input. Appreciate it. And as city staff mentioned, a copy of in writing will be mailed in to the appellant regarding the decision made today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.